Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Tuesday, April 25th. We are in our second day of the week. And just a quick reminder, we do have PCE reporting on Friday. So that is the big data point for the week. We want to see out of all the data points regarding PCE, of course, you have month over month, you have core PCE. So you have PCE month over month, core PCE month over month, PCE year over year, then core PCE year over year. And if you've been watching our show for a while, we do know the Fed typically focuses on core PCE, which is what the market will be focusing on. Core PCE is expected to drop to 4.5% from 4.6% the month prior. So anything at 4.5% or lower will have a euphoric reaction by the markets, and anything above 4.5%, meaning 4.6% or higher, will be bad for the markets. So looking at DXY, we're seeing a bit of a bounce from the lows that we had marked. Well, these are the lows, at the 100.8 level, but we had the support level mapped out due to support from way back in May of 2022, as well as resistance in April. So that is still standing tall. Previous daily close is sitting at 101.3, and now we're back in this kind of range that we sat in for pretty much the entirety of last week. So really what the DXY is either going to do is going to jump up to 102.2, flip that into support, and then head higher, or it will then get rejected at 101.2 and head lower. Obviously, it broke above the 101.6 level, so I'm not predicting it to come down just yet. I think when the area that in which it would likely reject would be the 102.2 level, maybe 102.1. But of course, we'll have to see how it reacts when it gets there. And I think this is the main reason we're seeing so much, bearishness from equities. Equities obviously broke through support very early this morning, right after the market opened, and has been dropping lower ever since. So pretty much the last hope was right around 4,105. We're obviously broke below that, and I would say that our next levels of support are going to come right around this level and right around this level, which is why I drew the line here first. I think 40.80 to 40.90 is a really good zone for equities to try and catch. And then if we broke below 40.80, I would say the 40.70 level around here would be a good place to catch. Else, you are just going to drop to 40.60 for a hopeful bounce, and then, potential drop lower and rejection and continue lower. So no immediate clear read on equities right now, other than the fact that I believe that 40.90 to 40.80 will be hit within the next 24 to 36 hours, possibly sooner. But, this is right around when price would start recovering, is, in the 40.90. So could definitely front run a bit of a catch here. And then let's get rid of these lines to draw a couple of scenarios. So if we catch here, the ideal goal would be to get back up here for then something like that, or then obviously a rejection. If you end up making it down here, what you'd expect is, let's say we tag, 40.90, maybe 40.85. Then we head up higher, do something like this, and then you either get back in that range or you get rejected back lower, and then that could be what sends us down here, and then we do something like this. We're talking, several days out, and we obviously have PCE on Friday. So, any data, past Friday is going to be pretty much moot, because obviously whatever that PCE number is going to affect price action. But if I was a betting man, my opinion is something like this, and then it curls back up for either a reclaim or then a rejection lower. Something like that would be what I would expect from equities. But we are getting a bit oversold here, which is why I'm talking about the possible front run to get back up to the 41.11 level. But I'm not betting on that right now. I don't think you should be catching knives on the equities chart right now. Let's go just quickly zoom out to the 4-hour. because it's not that oversold on the 4-hour. And look at where support is, right at that 4070 number. It is the 4-hour estimated 200 moving average. I would expect something like this. We have actually seen a lot of assets, in the crypto side just kind of slice through that level. But that's where you would expect, a bounce is on top of the 4-hour estimated 200 moving average. So if we break below 4080, 4090, then, obviously the 4070 number becomes critical, and it coincides with the top of the 4-hour estimated 200 moving average. So very much something to lock in on there if you are bearish equities but are looking for a potential area to catch along for the bounce, or then a potential, okay, if we bounce here, then I want to short, 4111, then it's kind of your idea on how you're, trying to assess those trades. But again, Friday is PCE day right here. So maybe we do something like this, and then we just drift up into PCE, and then we just zoom higher if PCE is good, or we, zoom lower if PCE is bad. So of course, we'll cover all that into the week, but not very bullish on equities as it stands right now. Now, this is the fascinating piece, is because obviously equities did not drop too much during this entire situation, but Bitcoin did. Pretty large drop. And let's just go ahead and map that out. The drop is, so while equities dropped, I want to say 3-4% maybe, not even less. While equities dropped less than 2%, crypto dropped nearly 11%. If we go down peak to trough, about just over 11%. So fascinating there. Equities are dropping today, but crypto is not. Crypto is holding strong. So before we get into it, what I covered for the TTC community today was basically if 29.2 is held, then there's a chance to reclaim 27.5 and then move higher. 27.5 gets rejected, then you're right back down to where you are, 27.2, 27.3. Then if 27.2 is broken, then you are heading down to 26.6. Obviously, nothing has been broken. We've just been sitting in the exact same range that we've been trading in since yesterday. I mean, we obviously had some deviation here, but this range is more or less unchanged since very early Monday. So eventually a decision will get made. It doesn't need to get made today, tomorrow, even the next day, but eventually a decision will get made. And that is, the decision is pretty simple. Below 27.2, probably going to tag 26.6. If you can get above 27.5, you can start heading back up to 28. To get above 27.5, you have to break above both the VWAP, which it's been sitting under since yesterday evening, close to midnight Eastern. And if you can get above that, that's your first kind of stepping stone. You need to get above the previous daily close, and then you need to move higher. So should see some resistance there. And if you do, then it'll probably just get shot back down to at least 27.3, maybe a little lower. And then obviously if we break 27.2, obviously heading here. So very similar for ETH, except it's definitely looking a bit more weak than Bitcoin comparatively. So, just because Bitcoin is above this support level of 27.2, ETH is below what was previously support of 1845. So for ETH, the moral of the story is get above, this is a bit trickier formation, but the moral of the story is get above the VWAP, which is 1835. Then you can start talking about getting back above 1845 and into this range that we were trading in previously. If you get rejected at 1845 or even the VWAP, which is 1835, then you'll head back down to probably the recent low of 1810, 1805. And if you break below 1805, then you are likely going to pretty much drop down to 1700. Let's go ahead and look at the 4-hour. We are below the 4-hour estimated 200 moving average. We rejected off the 4-hour estimated 200 moving average. And now we are in the previous range that we broke out of on April 4th, which is this range right here. So now we're trading in this range. So if we break the recent low, we're just going to start heading lower. I'd say your first target would probably be right around here, 1665. And then if 1665 broke, then you're headed here. But I have a feeling it's going to be pretty weak support just based on the trend that I'm seeing right now. So going back to the 1 hour, we pretty much know the setup. Below 1805, short down to 1760, maybe lower. get above 1845, pipe some longs up to maybe, right around 1890. And if you get rejected at 1845, short it right back down to these lows. And there you go. That's pretty much your 3 different types of trades that you can make today based on what's going on. But I mean, the US session's been pretty ugly and pretty gross, not really breeding too much trading. And again, like we said yesterday on the Trading Rebellion show, you don't need to trade every single day. Just because we are offering these ideas, I will tell you, ETH, it's a very disgusting asset to try and long right now. There's definitely a play to be made, but I don't really like, where am I going to place my trade? Where am I going to set my stop? So my stop is down here at 1805. But, maybe I'm not confident that we're going to get above the VWAP, and I'm barely confident that we're going to get to 1845. So I don't really want to take that trade. So what I'd rather do is be patient. And if 1805 breaks, then I place my short. And if 1845 either rejects, then I short, or if 1845 accepts, then I long. And that's the patience that you need to have when you're trading these charts. So moral of the story, DXY trying to chug higher. Equities looking pretty bearish. I would say target would be probably around 40.75 on a high time frame perspective. Bitcoin just still sitting in here, no real inference. And really the same for ETH. And in my opinion, I'm just going to say this: my bias is still short. I'm still looking for shorts right now. I was previously looking for longs. It really just wasn't working out. The price action was ugly. I was even looking for longs yesterday. I longed on Trading Rebellion. I closed it, and then price never regained where it was when Trading Rebellion was right around here. Price lifted up, maybe $100, $200 higher, and then shot right back down. So I didn't really lose anything that trade. I probably could have gained, a couple bucks, nothing crazy, but clearly the longs have not been working out. Longs have just not been working out right now, and therefore I'm just not going to try them. But I don't need to also just step into shorts just to be shorting. My bias is short, and I want to look for shorts, but I'm also going to wait for these critical levels to break, because I'd rather just not get stuck in terms of banging my head against the wall or continually being on the fence about something. I want conviction, I want strength, and therefore I want to trade strength in whatever direction. So I'm patient. I'm waiting for either a break lower or a break higher. Then I will step into some longs or some shorts. Jason requested Matic, so let's go ahead and check that chart out. Let's see, short from 108, took some profits at 95. Good for you, Jason. Sounds like it's a successful trade so far. So whatever I tell you today, you will still be a winner. So your 108 trade, where is 108 at? So I'm guessing you hopped in the short yesterday around Thursday. Very well done. We are down, let's see, from the lows on Thursday, we are down 10%. So great job there. So let's zoom out a little bit, because we're obviously at support, and we've fallen quite a great deal from the top. And you're at a level where you would expect support to come in. So let's take a look. So we've got these lows from January, got the lows from March, and now even lows from April. Now the big issue, and I guess I'll have to zoom out here so we can get a bit better candle perspective, is although you're meeting these lows, this is a triple tap. So you would typically expect off of a triple tap something like this. But we're in a very weird trading environment. So you're oversold. Also was oversold here. And here you're a bit overbought, and we still headed higher. So fascinating inference based on RSI. And in my perspective, that fascinating inference is that it's not very helpful. Although it is telling you that it is growing oversold. You're at the previous highs from back here in December. What am I doing here? What happened? Let's zoom out. Okay. So you're at the lows, or at the highs from December, from October, back here in September, and then pretty much this resistance, which, was deviation up here, and this was basically just a giant deviation too. So if you break below 95 cents, then you start getting back into the previous range where we have all these colors. And I'll just go ahead and start marking out Some lines. So this is, I would say this is probably a better low to look at, even though, we'll have to be mindful of the official low. But, this is basically deviation, deviation, the lows held. So if you break below 95 cents, although you do have a lot of trading that went on historically in this whole area, you didn't really have any trading going on last time it broke above this, and you haven't revisited this level since January. So if we break below 95 cents, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it's pretty much going to be a vacuum down here like this, very much like what you saw up here. If you can hold 95 cents, then what you'll do is you'll consolidate just above it for a while, and then you'll bounce up. And what you'll need to do is you'll need to break above the 1-day estimated 200 moving average, which was clearly resistance for quite some time, and then support for quite some time. Now it is resistance. So, I guess you could still deviate up here very much like what we saw here, because that took a couple days to play through. But I'm going to say that deviation is not looking great based on how this daily candle is closing. So I don't have an official read on whether or not I believe it's going to break below support or recover at support, because your guess is as good as mine. We're sitting at support. There's no swing failure pattern lower to say higher. There's no acceptance lower or even dipping below the support level. So right now it's just support. And we have obviously resistance up here. So in my opinion, it's best to be patient. If you took off some profits at 95 cents last night, you're doing fine. No reason to change the way that you're trading right now, because it's sitting at the exact same level where you took profits and it hasn't materially moved from that position. So what I would recommend, what I typically do, is take 50% off at whatever target is, then I'll let the rest ride, because if it starts pulling back, then I can obviously just close it and still protect the profit. Or if it starts continuing in the direction that I want, I'm obviously accumulating more profits as well. So I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life, but what I would do is just let this sit for a second, in a second, meaning, a day or two, and just let price action flush out. If it breaks below 95 cents, then I'm pretty sure you're going to have a vacuum down to 75 cents. If it holds at 95 cents in the next 48 hours, then maybe you cut at 97 cents, 98 cents, which coincides with this ugly wick here, which is right around where the yesterday's candle closed. So if I'd set a stop at 98 cents so that you protect profits in case it zooms up while you're sleeping. But again, we're sitting just at support. We have no indication of a recovery at support or a break of support. Therefore, you can be patient. But I would start planning what your exit strategy looks like if prices do reverse. Where do you want to set your stop to take profit? What are the technicals showing you? And again, just whoops. We have that circled right here, and it actually coincides with a really good target on the 4-hour, which is right around the previous daily close as well. So if you get back up to the previous daily close and you break that, then it's, definitely get out of the trade. But your starting point would be if you can breach these set of wicks, that would definitely be an indication. And that all coincides with the weekly VWAP as well. So if you can get above, what is this number? 97, 98 cents. That's when I'd probably just step out and look for the next trade. So that's my opinion there. But in general, I am feeling bearish. Equities continue to move lower while we are speaking. And in my opinion, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum and several other assets may see another leg down. So, but the beauty of it is my bias does not affect what actually happens in the charts. And we know our triggers for longs, for shorts, and for just continuing to range. So good luck. Happy trading. Speak to everybody tomorrow.